welcome into the show. Stardom Fantasy Football Podcast is back again. Today we're going to be doing more of a fun, not as serious episode. We're going to do a mock draft as a group. We'll see how our kind of rankings line up with one another and have a little bit of fun. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, great. Glad to be here. Draft day.
I'm doing okay. As you see, I'm wearing my Tiger Woods hat today because I was hoping for some Sunday championship, but that didn't happen. And also, I want you to know I am taking this very seriously, okay? So just get ready for some knowledge to be dropped on you boys.
Well, that's good to hear. We will be doing a mock draft, more of a head-to-head mock draft that should be a little bit more competitive. Maybe some trash talk comes out in that one. But today we'll be drafting as a team, so hopefully we can all agree on most of our picks. There's going to be something I'm sure where we're not seeing eye to eye on, but we will go majority rules here, so we will always be satisfied with the picks. But yeah, let's jump into some listener questions we got over the week. I know that we posted on our socials this week that we would be announcing a winner of a Starbucks gift card for sending in your questions. And as always, keep sending in all the questions you do have throughout the season. We'll try to address them all, whether it be on the show or whether we reply straight back to you on our socials. But let's go ahead and jump right back into them. So first question comes in. It says, would you consider a rookie/veteran running back stack? For example, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Damian Williams, Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, DeAndre Swift, and Kerryon Johnson. Would you guys consider those stacks on your team this year? Would you draft both those people?
It depends on how you're drafting them, right? I mean, are you drafting them as RB1 and RB2, or are you drafting them as, you know, you pick up Marlon Mack and then you want to pick up Jonathan Taylor as a handcuff? Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're looking for immediate value, there's no point in drafting both of them as an RB1 and RB2 because they're not going to get the playing time that you are going to want or need early in the season to make a dent in your win column there. So I think it'd be kind of moot to draft both of them immediately on draft day unless you're trying to handcuff one, you know, pending injury or getting benched or outplayed.
Yeah, it really depends how your draft goes and what kind of depth you have, I think, once you're getting going. And it really depends where they fall. Me and Stefen did a draft the other day where I randomly, because I normally don't take Clyde Edwards-Helaire because I just don't know what's going on with Damian Williams there. But Damian Williams fell to like 10th or 11th round, and I was like, well, why not at that point when you're taking flyers on people anyway? And such a prolific offense for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So it really depends where they're falling for me.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. For me, when I think about stacks, especially the running backs, you're thinking more of a handcuff situation where you have an elite back that you get in the first or second round, and you're just taking their handcuff just in case something were to go wrong, whether it be an injury, especially with this season coming around with COVID and everything going on. If you get the Zeke or even if you get like a Nick Chubb and you want to pair up with a Kareem Hunt or something like that, where you're having that reserve and that insurance, that's where it makes sense for me to do a stack. But I think with this rookie class coming in, I don't think there's really a sure situation for any of these rookies to have the complete backfield going right into the season. So I think it is a little bit risky. So I don't think for me personally that I would take one of these rookies stacked with their veterans because I just think those backfields are too undecided at this point. Whether there be news that comes around before the season that someone's going to take over the backfield completely is to be seen. But right now, I don't want to take these rookie veteran stacks.
Right. It really just depends on where you pick them up in the draft, right? Where the value is. But I think overall, we're all on the same page. We're wanting that more guaranteed value, especially for RB1, 2, or 3. I mean, if you're looking to go RB heavy in your draft this year and you want to, you know, pick up 4+ RBs, then sure. I mean, maybe you do pick up a Jonathan Taylor or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, if you can get lucky enough to pick them up later in the rounds, they're still there, but most likely someone's going to pick them up somewhere because they're not landing the RBs that they want. So just be smart in picking your running backs this year and find that guaranteed value to make your team have that purpose, you know, position filled and get that value out of it early in the season because you're going to want those wins early to make yourself known. So
exactly. Second question comes in. This is one that we kind of hit on a little bit on last week's episode. But what are your thoughts on Keenan Allen this year? He's got a new quarterback, and whether it be Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert, how do you guys think Keenan Allen plays out this year?
I'll dive into this. This was my dud in the last episode. He was one of my duds. I just think he takes a hit. I mean, he's losing Phillip Rivers and he's picking up Tyrod Taylor, and I like Tyrod Taylor. I've always liked him as a QB. I think he still has some talent with his arm, and I don't doubt that he can still move on his legs. He's getting older. They're probably not going to utilize that as much this year. I think they're going to rely a little bit more on the run game. But his passing numbers aren't going to be the same as Phillip Rivers. So I mean, naturally, Keenan Allen's going to take a hit with targets. So he was number 8 last year, ended this season last year number 8. I don't have him ending at number 8. Where do I have him? Where did y'all have him?
He ain't high. I know that.
Yeah.
I know that much.
Yeah, I have Keenan Allen at 27 this year, wide receiver 27.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think he's going to take a pretty decent hit this year.
Yeah, I feel like when I saw him on teams last year, it didn't seem like he was on teams that he didn't win you a lot of weeks. I think he was just kind of productive throughout. And pretty consistent, but I was shocked to see that he was that high last year, and this year there's no way he's going to be anywhere near. I don't think he's going to be a wide receiver 1 this year with Tyrod Taylor, an aging Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod was pulled into the Browns 2 years ago, and Baker Mayfield took right over. I think 5 or 6 games in.
Right.
And so they have another rookie in Justin Herbert, and it's going to be more the same. And I don't know. I mean, Baker Mayfield passed a lot when he came in, but typically, they try to take care of those rookie QBs. So I wouldn't expect too much out of Keenan Allen this year. I've got him at wide receiver 25.
I have him at 33. I mean, he's going to be targeted. He's going to be their wide receiver 1. I think it's just I don't think his numbers are going to reflect his last season.
Somebody's got to catch the ball.
So he's going to take a hit.
I think it's just him and Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
And then Austin Eckler. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, somebody's got to catch the ball. Obviously, targets are going to go somewhere, and he's going to be the lead. I think he's going to have the lead of the target share there. But yeah.
I mean that's my thinking too, and kind of my point is that someone is going to be relevant on this team in terms of a receiving option, and we see that with other teams as well around the NFL. Some of these bad offenses or teams that you think are going to be bad offenses, they still have really, really relevant fantasy wide receivers or running backs. And you see that with guys like Devontae Parker, for example. So a lot of people are going to be down on Keenan Allen going into these drafts. So you might be able to get him at a super value. So even though we're saying that we're not super excited about Keenan Allen, if Keenan Allen continues to fall in your drafts, I mean, this guy is still a super, super talented wide receiver. Just because he's not in the best situation with his quarterback doesn't mean that he's not going to be relevant in fantasy. He can very well be, a wide receiver 1 in fantasy, and it wouldn't surprise anybody. He's done it many a time. So just because he has a new quarterback and we're not too excited about a situation doesn't mean he's not going to be good in fantasy. It just means that we're not as excited as we were in years past.
Right.
Yeah, just you guys that I'm not looking to draft him, but if he falls to a point where it's just dumb not to pick him up, I'll
he can provide some value for sure.
And then the last question, how do you guys feel about taking a top 4 tight end in the second or third round? So let's talk about the top 4 tight ends real quick, just in terms of where we rank them. I think it's a pretty consensus thinking to think that it's Travis Kelce and George Kittle, top 2, far and away.
Yeah.
And then you either have Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, and Zach Ertz is somewhere with your 3, 4, and 5. That's kind of what the top 5 I'm thinking for everybody is. If you have someone else in there, it's not really the common thinking at this point. Are you guys in agreement that those are kind of the guys that we're talking about here?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if I'm going to take a tight end second or third round, I don't think I'm going past Kelce. I think Kelce would be my only choice to draft.
What do you mean? You don't believe in Kittle? Kittlebell?
No, I think Kittle's great. I just think for the value that I'm going to get, if I'm going to choose a wide receiver, position filled with a tight end who's going to put up wide receiver numbers, then yeah, Kelsey's probably going to be my go-to guy. I don't think I'm going to get that from Kittle this year.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm trying to see where they're going at overall right now.
Yeah, so it looks like they're
17 and
82s.
18 overall. They're going back to back in these drafts. It's looking like. I don't typically take them unless they kind of fall in my lap, maybe around the third round. If I've got a good running back, a good wide receiver that I'm like, I trust them, one of those two receivers or the two tight ends, they could be like a number one receiver, like provide that. And then, once it gets past that, it's a it's a dark and scary place unless you get Gronk like Ashton's going to do. But yeah, it's a tough place, and it kind of depends where they fall to you, I think, and what your team, where even your pick in the draft, like what you get, because sometimes once you're out of the top 4, you miss on one of those top running backs. You're not feeling too good about your RB1, and you want a better RB2, so you'll take them in place of a tight end in that spot.
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement. I think this year more than ever, I'm focusing on getting running backs early and often. I want at least 3 before round 5. I want my 3 running backs set. I don't want to have to worry about them. I just want to have solid depth at running back, because I think that's where it gets really scary really fast if you don't get them early. So I want the consistency at the running back position. There's so many good wide receivers this year that you can wait a little bit longer to kind of build that wide receiver core in your team. And with the tight ends, to me, if you don't have Kelsey or Kittle, everybody's going to have a game here and there. I mean, you can get Austin Hooper in the late rounds. You can get Hayden Hurst in the late rounds. Noah Fant, Gronk, even Higbee.
Blake Jarwin.
There's so many guys. There's so many guys that can give you games. So I'd rather play with my tight ends on the waiver wire week to week and just have really, really good running backs. So for me, if you're getting Kelsey and you have some stacked running backs already, go for it. But Kelsey and Kittle are kind of the only people I would even consider in round 2 or 3. But that wraps it up for our listener questions this week. Thanks to everybody who did send those in. We always appreciate that. But let's go ahead and jump right into our draft. Just kind of break this down for everybody listening. We're doing a half-point PPR draft. We're doing 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex, a tight end, a defense, and a kicker, and 7 bench spots. I think it's kind of the standard, whether you do ESPN or Yahoo lineup. This is kind of what you'll see. So we just kind of want to make it as accurate as possible for you all. So are you guys ready to just jump right into it?
Let's do it.
Cool. Let's get after it.
So we randomized our pick position. So we got the 9th pick overall. Not the best, but
not where I want to be.
We'll take it. Yeah. So like I was saying, to me, I think this is all about getting running backs early. So let's talk real quick about who's been drafted already. We had Christian McCaffrey go 1, Saquon Barkley go 2, Zeke at 3, Alvin Kamara at 4, Michael Thomas, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Devontae Adams. So we have 2 wide receivers off the board, and everybody else is running backs. So right now it's leaving us with Dalvin Cook, Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, Nick Chubb. Those are kind of top guys. Who are you guys looking at right here?
Oh, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, so Dalvin Cook typically doesn't fall this far, I don't think. I think if you're out there and you're about to do some mock drafts, these things change as the season gets closer, and he's threatening or whispering, talking about a holdout if he doesn't get paid with a long-term contract. He wants to match his value that he's providing, so that's why he's kind of fallen to us here. And I think they're totally going to get that resolved. So yeah, Dalvin Cook, let's get him. I want him.
Yeah, I agree. Let's take Dalvin Cook. But now that we are taking Dalvin Cook early in our first round, he is going to be our workhorse guy that we're going to rely on. And with talks about a holdout, it is important to keep in mind getting that handcuff later in the rounds. If we see Alexander Madison fall to us in the 10th or 11th round, something to look at, keep in mind. So we're talking second round now, right after us. Julio went off the board, Miles Sanders, and Tyreek Hill to wrap it up at the last pick of round 1. First pick of round 2 went to Nick Chubb, Kenyon Drake, and Josh Jacobs. So we got the 4th pick overall in the second round. So you get those 2 tight ends we talked about with Kelsey and Kittle that are still available. We also have some running backs that are still pretty high up. We got Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, Todd Gurley. DeAndre Hopkins is still on the board at wide receiver.
See, this is where, I mean, I want to get another running back, but when you see guys like DeAndre Hopkins still on the board, I mean, it's ultimately going to come down to who's gonna provide the most fantasy points for your team, right?
Right.
So you got to start evaluating that. But like you said, I think you said you wanted your first 3 positions to be RB.
Well, I want at least 3 out of my top 5 picks to be running backs.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm leaning DeAndre Hopkins here too. He's such a good player. Like, he can be wide receiver 1, the overall 1 in the year easily, and nobody would bat an eye. He's on a new team, so he is going to have to get used to a new quarterback in Arizona. But, I mean, he's just so freaking talented. Like, we saw him go number 1 last year in drafts as a wide receiver, and now he falls to us in the 2nd round. So are you guys looking at DeAndre Hopkins here, or would you guys rather go for a running back like Aaron Jones or Austin Eckler?
I'd take Chris Godwin over DeAndre Hopkins here, to be honest with you. Well, so if you go back and look, history does not favor well for wide receivers going to a completely new team, new system. I think he's going to get it going. Don't get me wrong. I do think he's going to start providing elite numbers, but I think it's going to be like the 5th, 6th weekend. That's why I've got him a little lower than everyone else. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying he's got to catch up to it. He's not having a regular offseason with his team. He's not hanging out with Kyler Murray because the Rona. You know what I mean? So that's like the only negative. And I thought Ashton would be all over that because he loves Tom Brady and everyone down in Tampa. So
yeah, but he loves Gronk. He doesn't love Chris Godwin.
He loves Tom. Or Austin Eckler. I'd take Austin Eckler here over Hopkins.
To me, I see it as Hopkins has proven himself as a top 5 wide receiver for the last a couple of years. Chris Godwin has been relevant for 1 year, like with a different quarterback. So if you're going to say, you know, DeAndre Hopkins has to get used to a new team and a new quarterback, I mean, so does Chris Godwin. So that argument means nothing to me. DeAndre Hopkins is miles away from Chris Godwin in terms of talent. I'm all over DeAndre Hopkins here. So, Ashton, we'll leave up the deciding vote to you. Do you want Hopkins? Do you want Godwin? Or do you want someone completely different?
I think we go for Hopkins here. I mean, he's guaranteed to get targets. He's guaranteed to put up numbers. He's wide receiver 1 on a moving offense. I think it's going to rely more on passing this year, pushing the passing game. I'd pick up Hopkins.
Great call. That was a good ally pick right there early on. Kind of vote Jacob off the island.
We got to set the line somewhere, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we're a team. This is okay.
Awesome. So right after us, Chris Godwin does go. So it seems like, you know, the computers are on the same mindset as you, that Chris Godwin was comparable. And then Travis Kelce is the first tight end off the board, ends up going pick 6 of the 2nd round, followed by Kenny Galladay, who was another wide receiver to be pretty excited about this year. I got Kenny Galladay as my 6th overall wide receiver. So another guy that could have been considered where we were picking. Followed by Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones. Lamar Jackson's the first quarterback off the board. He goes the 10th pick of the 2nd round. George Kittle, Odell Beckham to wrap it up for the 2nd round. 3rd round starts with Allen Robinson from Chicago, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, and Patty Mahomes goes as the 2nd quarterback. And pick 4 of round 3. There's still a lot of good talent left out there. The running backs are starting to dry up a tiny bit. There's already 12 or 13 running backs off the board.
Should have taken Austin Eckler.
So there's 13 running backs currently off the board now. Wide receivers are starting to get a little dry as well. Both of those tight ends that we talked about have been taken with Travis Kelce and George Kittle. 2 quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, have been taken already.
And we're already starting to see this drop in tier selection for these positions, and we're only in the middle of round 3 here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how fast it happens.
So Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Todd Gurley, Amari Cooper, and Leonard Fournette wrap it up to the picks that are coming to us. So now we're left with a good set of wide receivers. We still got some running back depth. Melvin Gordon's available, Chris Carson, Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, James Conner, just to name a few. There's some great wide receivers still left on the board with Cooper Kupp, Juju, Adam Thielen, A.J. Brown, Robert Woods, Devontae Parker. So we got a lot of options coming to us. We have the ninth pick of the third round. Where are your eyes kind of going here? We got DeAndre Hopkins and Dalvin Cook right now.
So we got the ninth pick here. That means we'll have the fourth pick in the next round. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. So we know not a lot of picks are going to go through us. We got 6 picks in between us, so you don't have to worry about losing too much.
Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Calvin Ridley are all still on the board. You have Chris Carson, Melvin Gordon.
Yep.
Juju. I like Juju here, and then come back with another running back because I feel like we'd be reaching.
Yeah. See, I think for me, I'm thinking there's a lot of good running backs here. I'd be happy with Kupp, Juju, Thielen, A.J. Brown, Robert Woods, Devontae Parker. I'd be happy with any of those guys here as my wide receiver 2. For me, I don't want to let one of these running backs go off the board because if we start to lose depth at running back, I think we're going to get behind. So my pick would probably be Melvin Gordon here, but I'll let you guys.
I think I'd lean on Chris Carson here, but Jacob, you make the final decision.
You guys don't want to hear what I have to say. Chris Carson coming off an injury, so that's scary always. I think it's just his hip, but
when he's on,
I know. I want to take. How high are you guys on Juju?
I love Juju. This year. I really like Juju and Cooper Kupp here. I'm really excited about both those guys. But again, my only thought process is I want one of those running backs for depth. But I'm happy with Juju or Kupp here too.
Well, because I'm thinking the way I'm looking at it, we got how many picks between us? 1, 2, 3, 6 picks
Kupp,
between us.
Woods, and Thielen, and Calvin Ridley in front of Juju this year.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a Kupp at 11, Juju at 12. I got Thielen at 13, Woods at 16.
Well, I'm saying if we take Juju here, I think Lev Bell, David Johnson, even Melvin Gordon even might get back to us. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I feel like we're reaching I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think you're going to lose us the season, but it's okay.
All right. So
let's take Juju.
We're going Juju? Okay. So we're going to get 2 wide receivers in our first 3 picks, but we got some good, really, really good talent at wide receiver, DeAndre Hopkins and Juju. Hopefully Juju has a bounce back season this year with Big Ben. So going into –
oh, great. There he goes.
So right after us goes A.J. Brown, Melvin Gordon, and Chris Carson back-to-back. Mark Andrews is the next tight end off the board as the first pick of the 4th round.
Yeah, because the guy behind us was like, oh, my God, they left Chris Carson on the board.
Yeah, that stupid computer guy.
Actually, Melvin Gordon went before Chris Carson, just FYI. Adam Thielen and Cooper Kupp. So we lost a lot of those wide receivers we talked about, but we picked up one that we were excited about. We have to go running back here. I mean, this is the 4th round, pick 4. Running backs still left is Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, James Conner. Then you got Mark Ingram, Raheem Mostert, some guys like that. There's still some good wide receivers with Robert Woods, Devontae Parker, Calvin Ridley. But I think we're going running back here. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, we have to.
Okay. So out of those options we talked about, we have Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, James Conner. Are those the 3 that you guys are kind of keeping an eye out on right here?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at for sure.
Okay. Where do you guys have them in your rankings?
Well, if we got James Conner, we already got Juju. I don't know if you want to do a team stack. That is an option.
Yeah, so talk about that a little bit in terms of a team stack with a running back and a wide receiver this early on and pick around 3 and round 4.
If it's Pittsburgh that we're doing a team stack with, anything that they play not at home, they're going to be passing more because they're going to be losing.
That's true.
Because that's what they do. So Juju's going to have a better game on all their away games and all their home games. You're probably looking at James Conner knocking up some numbers. So,
well, we did see it for a long time with Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown being very, very good in fantasy together.
That was a different life then.
But I do think
that was a different lifetime.
I do think taking him this early in drafts is a very risky move because you're just limiting your overall point output. So I do think it's probably smarter to lean on somebody not on the same team, whether it be Le'Veon Bell or even David Johnson is a good pick here. So do you guys want to kind of rule out James Conner just on the thought process that we already have Juju?
Yeah, I'm good with Lev Bell or David Johnson here.
All right, I'm happy with either one too. So Ashton, you make the call on this one.
Oh, God, I hate both these choices.
Where do you have them ranked in your rankings this year?
David Johnson is at 19 and Bell is at 20. So
There
we'll
you
go
go,
DJ.
David Johnson. Here we go.
So much volume coming his way, bud.
So right after David
until
Johnson,
week 3 when he's hurt.
Oh, come on.
All right, go ahead.
right after David Johnson, the rookie Jonathan Taylor goes right behind us. One that we didn't even talk about, but definitely an exciting rookie to keep an eye on. Jonathan Taylor is a guy that I'm targeting in a lot of my drafts this year, but I think David Johnson has proved himself to be a good fantasy option. So smart pick there. Le'Veon Bell actually goes right behind Jonathan Taylor, and then wide receiver with DJ Chark from Jacksonville, followed by Zach Ertz, another tight end off the board. Cortland Sutton, James Conner, Calvin Ridley, Robert Woods, Evan Ingram. I'm surprised Robert Woods made it all the way to the back of the fourth
Bobby
round.
Woods. Well, people are counting him out.
Yeah, I don't think
I
that's
got
smart.
Cooper Kupp.
And then starting the fifth round, we got Evan Ingram. So that's pretty early Evan Ingram pick. First pick of the fifth round. Scary Terry. Ashton, be excited about that pick.
Do you even know who that is, Ashton?
Second pick, which
Do
is
y'all?
which is big for him. Tyler Lockett, and then Keenan Allen, the guy that we talked about. So Keenan Allen ends up making it to the fifth round. Do you think in the fifth round, if he would have came back around to us, do you guys think he'd have been a value there with the wide receiver still available?
Who are the wide
draft is
receivers?
going for
Yeah,
us.
it depends on who's still available on the
All
board.
right. So, there's still Devontae Parker on the board. T.Y. Hilton, Stephon Diggs, A.J. Green. There's still a lot of big talent out there. Would you have taken Keenan Allen over all those guys?
I don't know if I would have.
It's a tough call.
That's fair.
I really like Devontae Parker. I don't think he's going to have as good of a year as he did last year, but I think he could definitely have a great year.
Fitz magic, man.
Well, man, listen, everyone's crapping on that team this year. But I think they could pull something off. Maybe get 2 or 3 wins. I don't know.
So right after Keenan Allen goes DK Metcalf, Big Dave Montgomery in Chicago, Tyler Boyd, and Devontae Parker right before us. We have the 9th pick of the 5th round. We currently have Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Juju Smith-Schuster. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers already. We're in the 5th round. Where are you guys looking here? There's a lot of really, really good talent left still. There's Mark Ingram, Raheem Mostert, Brandon Cooks, A.J. Green, T.Y. Hilton. Where are your eyes kind of going? There's still a lot of really, really good quarterbacks. People start to kind of look quarterbacks in round 5 through 9 or so. Only Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes have been off the board so far.
You have QB3 in our rankings. Dak is still available.
Yeah, we still got Dak, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray. So we could scoop up a quarterback here if we're not excited about the options at running back or wide receiver. Darren Waller, the Walrus, has made it to the 5th round.
Hey-o.
You guys want to take a tight end? What are you guys thinking here? Is there any guys on the board still that you guys are really, really excited to get?
Mark Ingram is piquing my interest just because, like you said, you want to have 3 running backs for 5 rounds. This is the time to make that happen.
That's true. Yeah, you got Mark Ingram, Raheem Mostert, and Devin Singletary, some guys that have probably passed their ADP by now.
And I'm just going to stop right there. This is a point in the draft where you could start considering picking up highly talented running back rookies that are going to have an opportunity to do something this year. It might not happen immediately. It might not happen for the first 3 to 6 games of the season, but a guy like, DeAndre Swift, they have a very good chance of making themselves known in the league this year, especially in a team like Detroit. So,
how much are you going to be running is the question. How many games are they going to be winning where the game script works in their favor? But I do know what you're saying. I do think DeAndre Swift is going to get a shot this year. I think Kerryon Johnson is just kind of he's been productive at some points, but more often than not, he's not on the field. So
the better you have a run game, the more opportunity you have in your passing game, right? And a better running back that you bring into the program like DeAndre Swift, who's going to raise the bar for the running back game there and the run game in Detroit. there could be a potential shift in the offense this year because you just bring in a better running back.
True.
It's all going to unfold when it happens, but I definitely think they're in a better position this year to have a stronger offense with a better solid running back like DeAndre.
So what are you
Swift.
thinking here?
I mean, I agree with you, Mark Ingram, but I just wanted to point out the fact that,
Yeah, for sure.
This is where you could start analyzing and evaluating younger, running backs and rookie running backs coming in that might not have an opportunity right away, but potential down the road. Stack them as a flex play or a streamer, and then put them on your bench for when they do come into play.
Yeah. I like Mark Ingram here just for the value. I'm not too high on Mark Ingram for the full year. I think Mark Ingram comes off to a really, really good first half of the season. I think he's going to be a real workhorse and a guy that you can rely on. But I think it gets a little shaky in that back half of the season. If you are in a spot to make the playoffs and kind of ride out those running backs, I think it's going to get a little sketchy just based on the fact that they did bring in J.K. Dobbins, and that backfield might tend to lean a little bit more on the rookie going into the back half of the season. So we'll have to see. But I think for where Mark Ingram's falling in the 5th round, I think it is a good value here, and I think we can take that risk. So I think we're all in agreement that we're going to take Mark Ingram here. So that kind of fills out our skill position starting lineup with Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Mark Ingram. So right after us, Darren the Walrus Waller falls, followed by Julian Edelman, and the last pick of the 5th round is Devin Singletary. The 6th round starts with Raheem Mostert, Dak Prescott, and Kyler Murray. So we're starting to see these quarterbacks go off the board. One thing that I have been talking about or kind of been in disagreement with Jacob on in the last week or so is my thought process on quarterbacks. We tend to disagree a little bit. But I'm more on the side, if you don't get one of these top 7 guys, your team drastically falls off, and it becomes a little bit harder just in general to have a really, really solid team. So my 7 guys are Lamar Jackson, Patty Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, and Josh Allen. 3 of those guys are still on the board, so I'm looking at Russell Wilson. But there are still a lot of great pieces that we can add some depth at running back and wide receiver. We could pick up a tight end. What are you guys thinking here? Are you guys interested in a quarterback with Russell Wilson? Are you guys trying to build some more depth at running back or wide receiver?
T.Y. Hilton's looking me in the face. He wants me to take him.
I'd rather take Russell Wilson over T.Y. Hilton.
I love T.Y. Hilton, but is T.Y. Hilton on the bench going to provide you more value than Russell Wilson starting?
No, and I think you nailed it, Stefen. The longer you wait, I mean, unless you land a lucky QB like this year's Ryan Tannehill, where
this year's Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not.
Did that last year everywhere.
Yeah, but even Lamar Jackson was going early last year. Ryan Tannehill.
I got him. I think I got him 120th overall.
He was still way back there. People just didn't believe in that he could keep running the way he did.
I thought he went early in our draft last year. Whatever, but we all learned that lesson quick, I guess, if that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather pick a high value QB sooner than later, just so we have that guaranteed, value at that position.
I'll go ahead and say my piece on that real quick. Why I think that you can wait, and it's normally because a lot of times you'll go into some strength of schedule and see that some matchups are just not going to work out for you, and you can stream all year long because there's a lot of quarterbacks and you only have to play one in most of the leagues. So that does affect it too. If you've got a 2 quarterback league, obviously you're going to have to take one early, but most people play in the 1 quarterback leagues. So that's why I kind of fade that value where those running backs, those like mid-tier running backs is where I see that value there. But I guess we can take Russell Wilson. So whatever.
Yeah, and just to kind of bolster off that, my point of view with these top 7 guys is that everybody except for, even Patrick Mahomes in some sense has the ability to be a dual threat quarterback, has the ability to get out of the pocket, run, get you points with his legs and his arm. That's why I think they're so valuable in fantasy today. We saw that last year with Lamar Jackson just lighting up the field, running all over everybody. But I think once you fall out of that top 7, you get back to those kind of prototypical old school quarterbacks with Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, the guys that are going to sit in the pocket and just air the ball out. But you get into a little bit more of a risky play that they won't always have great games. So that's why I think those top 7 guys are so crucial to kind of make sure you pick up on your team. So it looks like we're going to go Russell Wilson, get a great quarterback. So that kind of puts our starting lineup in a really, really good position with Russell Wilson, Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Mark Ingram. So we only have left with our starters is tight end, defense, and a kicker. And those are kind of positions we're going to fill out later anyway. So we're just going to start to add depth at this point. So right after Russell Wilson, Hunter Henry actually goes in the 6th round. Pretty early for Hunter Henry this year, especially with
basically the same reasons we talked about Keenan Allen.
Exactly.
So, yeah, definitely a little early for him.
T.Y. Hilton did end up going right after Hunter Henry, so T.Y. Hilton was kind of that top option. Otherwise, and then Deshaun Watson went. So one of those quarterbacks might not have actually made it back around to us, and it doesn't look like it did because Josh Allen ends up going a few picks later. So we had Stephon Diggs, A.J. Green, Michael Gallup, Josh Allen, Cam Akers to end round 6. Round 7 starts with Drew Brees, DeAndre Swift, Deebo Samuel, and Damian Williams. So like I said, those quarterbacks didn't make it back around. We even saw some of those old school quarterbacks start to go off the board. So it seems like it ends up working out for us.
Wait a second. What round did Damian Williams go?
7th.
Damian Williams was the last pick right before us, so he went number 4 overall in the 7th round.
Wow.
Yeah. There has been talk about that coaches are excited about Damian Williams. They don't know that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to come right in and take that backfield over. So if you can get Damian Williams as a value, I mean, he could end up being a great play this year. There's a lot of hype around Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but hype doesn't do anything for you in fantasy. So like I said, we already have 3 running backs. We have 2 wide receivers and a quarterback. We have the 9th pick of the 7th round. Jarvis Landry, Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones. So a lot of quarterbacks go off before it gets back around to us.
QB run here.
Yeah, so I think it's a great pick out of us last round to go big old Russell Wilson.
It's like we know what we're doing, right?
So now we have
– Go ahead.
We still have some great players left on the board. Brandon Cooks, Ronald Jones, Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Rob Gronkowski.
Who?
Not for me. Tevin Coleman, Darius Geis, Emmanuel Sanders, Will Fuller. Are any of these guys kind of really sticking out to you? Still some really good tight ends like Ashton Savage, Gronk, Higbee, Jared Cook.
Hey, Ashton, what was your team name beginning of last year? Was it the Geis is right?
Yes, in one of my leagues.
It was wrong, though, remember?
The Geis is very wrong.
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of excited about him this year. Low key, I think he's from reports I've been hearing is that he's been in great shape and he's really looking good, but I don't want him here. What do you guys I'm not tight end. Tyler Higbee's chilling.
Yeah, Ashton, I want to hear who you're excited about this pick because I think we are to a point where we're starting to build our bench now. Like we're not really worried about anything unless we want to go tight end. But if we don't go tight end, we're just building bench. We have 3 running backs and 2 wide receivers. Is there anybody that sticks out to you in this pick in the 7th round?
Okay, in all seriousness, my choice would be Gronk at this point, just to secure a top tier tight end. I think, in my opinion.
Okay.
But because I hate scrambling for tight ends each week. I'd
It's
rather
a streamer,
have
man.
some consistent. No way. It's a key value position if you can get it right.
So even
Gronk
with
will come
Hurst,
back. Gronk will come back to us our next pick, and I'll wait for Hayden Hurst. I don't want Gronk. I don't want any part of him. Sorry, dude.
I mean, Marquise Brown is still here. I
like that.
I mean, I like Marvin Jones. I don't know. Detroit makes me nervous. I
agree.
What about Brandon Cooks here? You guys like Brandon Cooks?
The Stefen sweetheart of the year.
Who knew that was coming out of your mouth?
You get Brandon Cooks in the 7th round, and he can be a wide receiver 1 or 2 this year. Is that value? Like, is that a value pick to you guys, or are you leaning more Marquise Brown? What do you have him in your rankings, I guess?
I have Marquise at least. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots ahead.
Okay.
overall is what I'm looking at here. But I got Marquise Brown as kind of the top option.
Mm-hmm.
I got Brown at 31. I got Cooks at 39.
See, I'm really high on Cooks this year. I got Cooks
We
as
know
my
you are, man.
wide
We
receiver
know.
19 on the year, and Marquise
Oh
Brown
my
at wide
God.
receiver 31. So I'm really high on
Whoa.
Cooks this year. Yeah, that's how I do it. But if you guys want to go Brown, we can go Brown. Is that kind of where you're at?
What do you think, Ashton?
Yeah, I definitely would take Marquise Brown over Brandon Cooks.
Definitely.
I think we can at least wait 6 rounds before Gronk comes around anyway.
All right, so we're going to go Marquise
y'all are going to
Brown
regret that.
as our third wide receiver, followed by Kareem Hunt and Marvin Jones. So Brandon Cooks comes back next round. Something to look at there.
Yeah.
So right after us goes Kareem Hunt, who some people are really excited about this year. Think that he's kind of going to take a bigger step forward in that Cleveland backfield. Marvin Jones falling all the way to the back end of the 7th round, followed by Will Fuller. Ashton's guy, Tom Brady, leads off the 8th round. That's
great backup
really
QB.
wanted him.
You know,
and then Ronald Jones falls to the 2nd pick in the 8th round, which is just extreme value in my mind to get a guy like Ronald Jones that late in that high-powered offense. Marlon Mack, the veteran in Indianapolis, I guess, compared to Jonathan Taylor, falls to the 3rd pick in the 8th round. But we're back up with the 4th pick of the 8th round. We have 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and a quarterback so far. So we can still look at the tight ends. All the tight ends that were there last round are still here with Jared Cook, Tyler Higbee, Gronk, Hayden Hurst, Noah Fant, Austin Hooper. Still a bunch of options out there.
Yeah, I suggest waiting.
I would wait.
Where we have them ranked. So, yeah, see you later, Gronk. See you in about 10 rounds.
I would also take Brandon Cooks here because he is still there.
You guys are going to like this. Check this pick out.
Let's see what you got.
Sony Michel.
Yeah, I hate Sony Michel. Nope, don't want any part of Sony Michel.
He's a starter. He's a starting running back for the New England Patriots. If you look here, that's one of my drafting strategies is like I'm going to try to get a wide receiver one, that lead person or that running back one it's like guaranteed touches. Mm-hmm. And he's a little banged up here and there, but I think he is a running back one for a great team, and he's going to be punching in some touchdowns. Last year was a little rough, but he's going to have Boot, Scoot, and Cam Newton out there. So it might open things up. I know he's going to vulture some touchdowns, but I think it'll open it up a little bit for him, and he could bounce back. But that's just running back depth. You can go ahead and hate it.
I didn't like Sony Michel before Cam Newton joined, and now that Cam Newton joined, I like him even less.
I knew that was coming. I freaking knew it.
I mean, I'm sorry, man, but if I was on the Patriots and I had a choice to hand the ball to Sony Michel or keep it in Cam's hands, I'm putting it in Cam's hands.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even higher on James White than I am on Sony Michel. So.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
I'd rather give it to Rex Burkhead.
Okay, let's just take Darius Geis.
I mean, that sounds just as bad as Sony Michel to me.
Well, no, Stefen.
Starting running backs for their teams.
Let's not stretch out the truth here. How do you guys feel about Sterling Shepard this year? I don't want to take him in this round, but
go ahead and give me your votes, guys. Let's see what you got.
Okay.
Make your vote. Who do you want?
Brandon Cooks. Jacob, are you all in favor with not selecting Brandon Cooks just despite the majority rules here?
We just took another wide receiver. That's why I'm looking at these running backs here.
I just don't think any of these running backs.
If you guys don't feel the same way I do, I mean, because there's Sony Michel, Jordan Howard, J.K. Dobbins. We took Mark Ingram. We could take Dobbins.
Where do you guys have Jordan Howard ranked?
I hate Jordan Howard. I have him 35th running back.
Yeah, I have him at 33.
I mean, I think you could take Tevin Coleman here if you want to get running back. Just with the Raheem Mostert talks, you don't know what's going to happen in that backfield with Kyle Shanahan.
I actually have Darius Geis at 31, Sony Michel at 32, and Jordan Howard at 33.
Oh, my gosh.
I might need to change my
All right, let's make a pick, guys.
All right, go ahead.
I'm leaning Brandon Cooks, obviously. You guys pick whoever you want.
Yeah, let's just do Brandon Cooks. Great.
Great pick overall, guys. So we'll take Brandon Cooks.
Better get Rob Gronkowski. That's all I have to say.
In the 8th round.
He'll be there.
Gronk's going to be here. He'll definitely make it around back to us. So actually, Keyshawn Vaughn, the rookie from Tampa, ends up going right behind Brandon Cooks, followed by Tevin Coleman and John Brown. So we are starting to see some of these rookies and arguably backups starting to fall. People are building depth just like we are. Still a lot of tight ends on the board. These tight ends aren't going yet, so it seems like we're safe there. We might start to see them fall before they come back to us. Overall, how are you guys feeling about our team right now? That we got Russell Wilson, Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju, Mark Ingram, Marquise Brown, and Brandon Cooks.
Drafting from the 9 position is tough, man.
I
But
think
we
we're in
did
pretty
get
good
Dalvin
shape.
Cook, but yeah, we're building depth. I like that.
Yep.
And we got Russell Wilson. I mean, he's okay. You know how I feel about drafting where they are, but he is a hometown hero. So, yeah, I'm liking where we're at.
Yeah, I'm liking where we stand too. I think if we can build some good running back depth, we do have 3 in our starting lineup, so that is good. And we do have some great handcuffs behind Mark Ingram and Dalvin Cook. So we might be able to scoop up some of those guys here. But it looks like Darius Geis goes at pick 8 in the 8th round, followed by Emmanuel Sanders.
They're going to win.
Sony Michel, Kerryon Johnson, and then Jordan Howard wraps up round 8. Round 9 starts off with James White, Darrell Henderson, Darius Slayton, and Christian Kirk. So some of these handcuffs are starting to go off the board with Darrell Henderson, Jordan Howard, who Ashton talked about, went off, Sony Michel, Darius Geis. So a lot of the guys we were considering ended up going right near where we picked. So it looks like we were in the right mindset at least. So we're going to end up getting the 9th pick of the 9th round.
Seeing some of this, like Darrell Henderson, he was a guy that I was kind of excited about last year. Had some opportunity to really step up and show his talent. How are you guys feeling about the Rams this year? I'm just curious.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah. I love Cooper Kupp. I love Robert Woods. I think they're always going to be really high up in fantasy. I think they're really good wide receivers, have really good rapport with Jared Goff. But I think everything else outside of that, even Tyler Higbee might have a good year, but I think that's really all I'm looking at. I don't know what's going to happen in that backfield. We'll have to see. But after Christian Kirk goes Deontay Johnson, Matt Breida, Sterling Shepard, and Phillip Lindsay. We're back on the clock with the 105th overall pick, 9th pick of the 9th round. Looks like we're getting a little wide receiver heavy. We have 4 wide receivers, 3 running backs, and a quarterback. All those tight ends that were available last round are still available. So we still got
I did not see that coming.
Tyler Higbee, Hayden Hurst, Gronk, Noah Fant, Austin Hooper. Still some great wide receivers, still some great running backs. J.K. Dobbins ended up making it to us, so we can get the handcuff for Mark Ingram if we want, as well as Alexander Madison, who will be the backup for Dalvin Cook. So we can go ahead and grab one of those handcuffs. This is around where they're starting to fall. A lot of these rookie wide receivers, great rookie class this year, is starting to end up around this ADP with Justin Jefferson, Henry Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, those kind of guys. We can go tight end with one of the guys we just talked about. This is where we're starting to get the picks that you can kind of go any route you want. But with the team that we have so far, where are you guys looking here?
Because we have Mark Ingram, I'm leaning towards J.K. Dobbins. And, Ingram is not our RB1 or 2. So I'm okay with picking up a handcuff to Ingram at this point. I think it's his last year in Baltimore anyways. I think they're going to start exercising the guys underneath of him. And J.K. Dobbins has a tremendous amount of talent, which I'm looking forward to watching this year, given the opportunity that he's going to be afforded. But that would be a choice where I think if we could start stacking some talent, I think he'd be a strong strategic move there.
Yeah, yep. I like Dobbins. I agree with everything you just said. Let's take him.
Oh, that made it easy. Sweet.
I agree. I think J.K. Dobbins, even for the reason we talked about earlier, that we did agree that Mark Ingram's going to be really strong to start the season, but then J.K. Dobbins might start to take that backfield in the back half of the season. So I think that's a great pick that we do have Mark Ingram, and now we have J.K. Dobbins. So we don't have to worry about the fall off. We have both the options just in case. So right after us goes –
my boy Latavius Murray. I'd normally pick him every year as a backup, man.
Yeah.
Hate to see him
go. It's worked out.
So Duke Johnson, ends up going right behind us. Our other handcuff for David Johnson. Tariq Cohen, Latavius Murray, Jamison Crowder, Mike Williams, and then our last handcuff with Alexander Madison goes right before our pick. So we have the 4th pick in the 10th round. We now have 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers, and a quarterback. Again, all the tight ends that we've talked about for the last 4 rounds are still available. So
you're gonna regret it, man. They're gonna be gone real quick.
Where are you guys thinking here? There is still those rookies that we talked about at wide receiver: Justin Jefferson, Henry Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, and Jerry Jeudy. We have Tony Pollard for Dallas, Zach Moss, the rookie for Buffalo. All those tight ends. What are you guys thinking here?
Well, I think we all agree that Jerry Jeudy is our favorite rookie wide receiver.
No, I didn't agree with that. That was you two.
Well, the ones whose voices matter, right?
Oh, dude, you agreed with me in the first round, man. Come on.
No, I mean, I'm excited about all of them. I do lean towards Jerry Jeudy. I just think the kid's a beast. But CeeDee Lamb's a good option here too. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? There's Anthony Miller, but he's Chicago. We kind of are trying to lean against Chicago.
Yeah. For me, I'm thinking tight end here, and I'm thinking Tyler Higbee, but that's just me.
Now you want to go tight end? And
He's
you
still
want to
hanging?
Higbee?
We've already made it all to the 10th round, so we got 2 wide receivers on the bench and a running back on the bench. So at this point, I'm taking a tight end.
I leaned in and let you get Brandon Cooks, and
You also just said my voice didn't matter, so
You did say that.
you should have waited until after we got Gronk to say that.
Playback. We're gonna go ahead and stop recording, and I'm just gonna cut off the last 10 minutes of the conversation.
Okay, so I'm saying Higbee, Ashton, Gronk. What are you saying, Jacob?
Jacob.
I'll take Higbee here.
There we
my
go.
God.
Great pick. So we're going to take Higbee in the 10th round to kind of wrap up all of our picks. Our starters decide defense and kicker.
I'll see you guys later.
Actually, the first defense goes off the board right after us with the San Francisco defense. Nyheim Hines goes in the 10th round. So 3 Indianapolis running backs have already gone. Followed by Golden Tate. CeeDee Lamb is the first rookie wide receiver off the board. Anthony Miller, Austin Hooper, Preston Williams. The Pittsburgh defense wraps up the 10th round. 11th round starts with Jerry Jeudy, Joshua Kelly, Justin Jackson, Jalen Reagor, Tony Pollard, N'Keal Harry, Zach Moss, and Boston Scott. So we get the 9th pick in the 11th round. Again, we still have 4 wide receivers.
This is where you need to pick up a backup tight end, and Gronk is still on the board.
Oh, my gosh. Backup tight end is a joke.
Surprisingly, no tight ends except for Austin Hooper went that round. So we could have probably got Higbee in this round. So we do still have 4 wide receivers, 4 running backs, a tight end, and a quarterback. We can go ahead and build more depth at wide receiver, running back. We can follow suit and take a defense, which seems to be the thing going on right now. What do you guys want to do here? We can take one of these rookies, a wide receiver that we're really excited about. We can build more depth at running back. What are you guys thinking?
Aaron Rodgers is still on the board.
Yes, he is. Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, Big Ben.
God, can we just think about that? Aaron Rodgers.
The team is leaving him behind. I think everyone knows that except for Stefen.
Oh, man.
So. Let's see. Man, why are these?
Baltimore Ravens.
I think I'm running back. But
here, the running backs that are left aren't exciting for me. I mean,
I know what you want, Stefen. Here we go. Justin Jefferson.
I love Justin Jefferson here.
There it is.
That was my
face, Ashton.
That was my rookie wide receiver that I had at number 1 for me. Do you like Justin Jefferson, Ashton?
Doesn't matter. He's overruled. Boom. Let's take
That's
it.
True. Bam. We already took him.
Woo!
You don't get Gronk, and we get Justin Jefferson.
I love this.
So actually, Roby Anderson and Mecole Hardman go right after us. We do have some great wide receivers now. We even have Marquise Brown, Brandon Cooks, and Justin Jefferson on the bench. So we should not run out of wide receiver depth on this team. So Aaron Rodgers ends up actually going his last pick of the 11th round, Ashton.
Oh, darn it.
12th round starts with Brashad Perriman, Curtis Samuel, and Matt Stafford. So we have 30 wide receivers on the bench and a running back. So I'm thinking we start to lean a little bit more running back depth. Chase Edmonds is still on the board. We saw some great games out of him last year. AP is on the board.
Antonio
Jamal
Gibson.
Williams. I don't know who that is, but yeah, apparently he's
Oh
on the
my
board.
God.
What do you guys think?
Scary Terry.
I don't like how this is starting to take a turn for the worst.
Go Cowboys. I think Chase Edmonds.
I can't say go anything because I don't have a team name.
Go Washington. Washington football.
Washington Football Club. All right, you want Chase Edmonds?
I like Chase Edmonds here too.
That's a good handcuff. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that could be a starter. Antonio Gibson is actually an option.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian Peterson, he's just very old these days, and that doesn't seem to be changing.
You don't want the next Christian McCaffrey and Antonio Gibson?
God.
Oh, man.
Anybody whose mouth that comes out of should just –
Ron Rivera?
Should coach a Washington football team with no name.
Anthony McFarland is still available if you like that
Ooh.
rookie running back in Pittsburgh.
I'm okay with Chase Edmonds as a handcuffed David Johnson because we all know David Johnson's going to get hurt at some point.
Well, they're on different teams at this point, so.
Ooh.
I'm just saying David Johnson's our running back one. He's going to get hurt. I'd rather have good talent come in.
But my point is David Johnson and Chase Edmonds are on different teams now. Because David Johnson plays for Houston now, not Arizona anymore.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay,
still great handcuff either way.
Yeah, we do have. So now we have J.K. Dobbins and Chase Edmonds on the bench. We do have some good depth there. We have 2 bench spots left, a defense and a kicker left. So right after us with Chase Edmonds goes Henry Ruggs, the New England defense, Alshon Jeffrey, Antonio Gibson, Deshaun Jackson, Rashad Penny, Sammy Watkins, and Malcolm Brown to wrap up the 12th round. 13th round starts with Big Ben, Cam Newton, Jared Cook, T.J. Hawkinson, Carlos Hyde. I still want you to know that Gronk is still on
I
the
see
board.
him.
T.J. Hawkinson just went before Gronk. Also, Carlos Hyde went before Gronk, just FYI. Noah Fant, Brandon Ayuk, and Baker Mayfield. So we're back around the 13th round, the 9th pick overall. Just to make Ashton happy, I am okay with taking Gronk here. We want to take Gronk.
No, we don't have to take a backup tight end, but if you want to. I mean,
how do you feel about taking the shot on Cam Newton?
Which quarterback? Let me look at it.
I mean, we have Russell Wilson. You don't really need depth at quarterback.
You know what? You know who we were talking about last time? Joe Burrow would be a fun one.
I was going to say I'd rather take Joe Burrow, Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But so what do we got? We got how many picks left? 3.
We have 4 picks left, and we still need a defense. And
2 of them have to be okay.
So we can
what's Russell's bye week?
Week 6.
Yeah, so we could take Burrow or Cook. I mean, Cousins.
Some options here.
Cousins? Oh no! If we're taking a backup quarterback, I'm happy to take a shot on Joe Burrow just because I do think he can be special. I'm fine with Burrow.
I think Joe Burrow would wait we can wait on him a couple rounds. Actually, I think. What do you think? I think he's going undrafted for.
So Cousin. So pick up Gronk as a backup tight end, and then go back and pick up Burrow, and then pick up our.
Yeah, see, I'm not that confident about – I like Tyler Higbee this year. I think he has a good opportunity, but I'm not confident that he's going to be great every week. So I'm fine with taking Gronk here just based on who the tight end we got is. I think if you have one of those top 4 guys that we talked about, you don't need a backup. But for Higbee, I think you can take a backup tight end here.
And this is a point where if y'all haven't already, you can start analyzing the other teams in your league and seeing where they have holes or where they're starting to struggle.
What they still need to draft. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Because then if you can get ahead and you can pick up another, like right now, if we could pick up another potential high-end position or like tight end, running back, whatever it is, pick it up where they might need it, you're looking at trade value. So be strategic. Don't just look at your board. Look at your cohorts here.
What are you guys thinking? Gronk here?
I'm not going to fight you on that.
Boom. 2 out of 3.
Anthony McFarland Jr. still available?
No, we just took Gronk. All right. So we have all of our bench spots except for 1 taken now. We have a defense, a kicker, and a bench spot left. So after Gronk actually goes to Baltimore Ravens defense, which also would have been a smart play if you lean heavy on those defenses. followed by Mike Gesicki, the tight end from Miami. So going into the 14th round, we have the 4th pick overall. 3 picks still left. We have 1 bench spot. We can take backup quarterback if we want, or we can go more depth at running back or wide receiver. We can start looking at defensive kicker here, or we can wait for the last 2 picks.
I go Joe Burrow here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad pick trying to build that depth. But, I mean, again, we do have Russell Wilson, so it's up to you. So actually after Mike Gesicki goes, Michael Pittman, Hayden Hurst leads off the 14th round, Jonnu Smith, and Devonta Freeman. So the 4th pick of the 14th round, if we're looking at defenses,
Buffalo Bills,
the Bills, the Bears, the Saints. All the kickers are still on the board. If we want to go ahead and grab Harrison Butker, we can grab. So I think we either want, if we want the backup quarterback, we're going Joe Burrow. If we want more depth at running back or wide receiver, there's still some good options. What are you guys thinking here? Where do you guys want to go?
It's kind of tough because we took a shot on Gronk instead of a spot for Joe Burrow. Thanks a lot, Ashton. That's so. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of two backup tight end, backup QB. Those are got positions you can kind of stream every week anyway.
Yeah.
But I did want to add that. Did you see Gronk's Madden rating?
I did not.
He's number 3. Number 3. Yeah.
That's crazy. I thought that was his age. I'm good with the Buffalo Bills here, or I still like Anthony McFarland Jr.
Yeah, I think I'd take the Buffalo Bills just because you can plug them in every week and they're going to be great for you. Anthony McFarland, you never know if he's going to make it on the field. So, are you good with that?
Yeah,
Ashton?
go Bills.
Okay, so we're going to get the Bills defense as our starting defense this year. So we have a kicker left and a bench spot with our last 2 rounds. Actually, Raquel Armstead ends up going right after us, and Joe Burrow, and then Anthony McFarland. So some of those guys we're considering ended up falling right behind us. Chicago Bears go A.J. Dillon, Darrington Evans, Damian Harris, Alan Lazard to wrap up the 14th round. 15th round starts with Dallas Goedert, the Philly D, Harrison Butker, Justin Tucker, AP, the Vikings defense, Chris Thompson, and Blake Jarwin. So we still need a kicker and our final bench spot. Which position do you guys want to go? Is there anybody that's still left that you guys want to take a shot on, or?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look at right now.
Only 2 kickers have gone off the board with Harrison Butker and Tucker.
Frank Gore still on the board?
Get out of here with that nonsense.
Yeah, Frank Gore?
No.
That man
still got
slow moving.
Well, how do you guys feel about Hunter Renfrow?
I feel that he's a player in the NFL. That's my
Larry Fitzgerald's still on the board.
I concur.
Yeah, Larry Fitz, Ty Williams,
D.D. Westbrook's still on the board.
Yeah.
Paris Campbell.
I mean, is there any of those guys that really blow your mind here?
Really blow my hair back.
I can see Hunter Renfrow having an up year, but I don't know.
But is he ever going to play over any of the wide receivers we already have?
Right, that's the question.
Not unless
is he going to turn into something?
A really bad turn.
I mean, Paris Campbell, I don't know. How do you feel about Paris Campbell, Stefen, as just a backup piece? I mean, there's no running backs that I'm like, oh, man, they got a chance. You know, that's the tough part here.
Yeah, I think Paris Campbell is going to get at least an opportunity. I think he's going to get some slot play this year. I think they're going to try to implement him in some trick runs and stuff like that. So, I mean, he could be a relevant player. I don't think he has a great ceiling on him. But, I mean, he can be a guy that you can probably plug in for. He'll probably have a couple good weeks this year. Whether or not you actually pick those weeks that you start him is another question. But I'm fine with Paris Campbell. That's the route you guys want to go.
Jamal Williams.
You do have Jamal Williams. He's going to probably be fighting for that second spot in Green Bay.
They just drafted what's-his-face.
Yeah, they went out and drafted a running back this year. So you don't know what's going to happen in that backfield. You guys go ahead and make the call, though.
I said Paris Campbell as a flyer with Wild Phil down in Indianapolis.
Okay, so Paris Campbell will be our last bench spot. All we have left is a kicker. So right after us actually goes Hunter Renfrow, just like Ashton had predicted. Will Lutz is the next kicker off the board with the second to last pick in the 15th round. I'm sure we'll start to see some more kickers go off before it comes right back around to us. But the Saints defense goes Greg, the Legs, Erline, Kansas City Chiefs defense, and Matt Gay. So the kickers we have left, we have Robbie Gould, Jake Elliott, Matt Prater, Zane Gonzalez, Kaimi Fairbairn. Where are you guys looking? Good old Robbie Gould, they got a high-power offense in San Fran, or Jake Elliott? What are you guys looking at?
I'm glad we saved up time so we could really
I'm
take
good
about 10
with
to
Robbie.
15 minutes to make a good decision here.
I'm good with Robbie Gould.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think kickers should not be a thing anymore. That's what I want to. That's where
Right.
I want to be.
So we're taking Robbie Gould.
I love Robbie Gould. He's on an offense that's going to score some points. So obviously, that's something you talk about when you look at kickers.
Yep.
Is are they going to be on a team that scores a lot of points because they're going to be kicking? They're going to be close to where they can actually get in range to kick some field goals and get you some points. And Robbie Gould's been a stud for a long time. So I really love that pick, and I think that really is going to wrap things up and put a bow on this team and take us all the way, honestly, in this mock draft that we have completed here.
Just to wrap it up, we ended up with our starting lineup of Russell Wilson, Dalvin Cook, David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyler Higbee, Mark Ingram, Bills defense, and Robbie Gould. Our bench consists of Marquise Hollywood Brown, Brandon Cooks, J.K. Dobbins, Rob Gronkowski, Justin Jefferson, Chase Edmonds, and Paris Campbell. How do you guys feel it turned out? Would you guys be excited to have that team in a real league, or do you think we made some not so great choices every once in a while?
Some choices I probably would have hung on, waited a little bit longer. What we picked Juju in round 3, 2 or 3? What did we pick Juju at?
I think we picked him in round 3. Yep.
Yeah, I mean probably not my top choice there, but
From what was there, I think it was kind of a scary pick. But if he does bounce back in the way a lot of people are expecting with Big Ben, it's going to be big bounce back. I believe in it. I hope it happens, and it's a make or break year for him. So I think he's going to be playing his tail off because he doesn't have a contract moving forward. So I like this team. I think we got lucky with Dalvin Cook falling to us at 9 because I have drafted a few teams past like the top 5 without getting those running backs I really love. So it turned out pretty good for where we were at, I think.
Yep. Yeah, I think we got some really exciting players on our bench that can have some big upside. So I am excited about our bench. I think we got some good depth. My only regret really is not taking Gronk earlier on in the draft.
Oh,
for
sure.
Sure. We could have got him in round 2, round 3, something like that. Really exciting there. But we did end up getting him in like round 13, so you could wait. But overall, I am happy with that team. Thanks, you guys, for doing this with me. I think it was a lot of fun. I think it'll be even more fun when we get a chance to do it against each other and see how all of our individual teams turn out. We can keep in mind that Ashton's
I'm going to win
early with Gronk, so we
of
can
course. So that's
mark that off.
I'm definitely taking him first overall. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great job, boys.
Thanks again, guys. That wraps it up for our group draft. Make sure to check out all of our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're also on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So if you haven't already checked that out, make sure to give us a follow. Make sure to listen in. We put out new episodes every Tuesday, so make sure to wait till next Tuesday to check out our next episode. And tune in to our socials to see who our Starbucks gift card winner is for our listeners' questions. But that wraps it up. Thanks a lot, guys.
Can't wait to meet you guys. You don't have to